What's up guys, welcome back to another Blue Archives video. My name is Zagus and today we're going to be talking about the maintenance problems as well as the newly released raid boss. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest news and content. Welcome back. Right after the maintenance, we were compensated 480 pyrozennies for the 3.5 hours the servers was down. So that was around 140 pyrozennies per hour of maintenance, which was higher than expected, a very welcome sight. Unfortunately, however, while writing the script for this video, we had an emergency maintenance on the 16th of November 7:10 AM UTC or 15th November 11:10 PM Pacific time. There were two major issues. First was the surprise weekend coupon codes were able to be redeemed more than once. These codes were expected to be redeemed only once and only once. However, it seems something broke after maintenance, and reports surfaced of players abusing this for massive amount of pyrozennies. Nexon will be taking a harsh stance on this and ban all players who abuse this error. The second issue was regard to sparking. Players who reached 200 recruitment points and traded in their points were expected to receive 100 Aru Elves. However, instead, players were receiving 30 Aru Elves and 70 Shiriko Elves. Nexon will be looking to exchange your Shiriko Elves for Aru Elves. And for players who already use their Shiriko Elves, Nexon is working on resolving this issue. So unfortunately because of that, the servers have been on maintenance since then. However, we should be expecting a very generous compensation from Nexon, as having such a major issue this early in the game's lifespan would damage Blue Archive's reputation and erode player confidence. A quick update, this is being recorded after I already finished the video. But anyways, the emergency maintenance has already finished after 8 hours, and we received 1,200 pyrozennies, 70 stamina, and 1 total assault ticket as compensation. Let's move on to some more positive news. We received a special gift from Shale, in which we got 1,200 pyrozenny in celebration of the new main story, Foreclosure Task Force Chapter 2. So make sure you claim it in your mail before the 23rd of November. Another exciting update is that we got our first raid boss, and it is Binah. It is a giant robotic worm, and the boss's armor type is heavy, so bring piercing strikers and special students. This boss is a very basic entry level boss, your typical tank and spank and kill it until it dies. For raids, you are given 3 tickets per day. You can spend 1 ticket to attempt a difficulty of the raid boss. You will have to clear the lowest difficulty in order to progress to the next difficulty. If you successfully clear the boss, you'll be able to sweep that boss's difficulty and claim the rewards without effort. So, I have already done an attempt on the first difficulty, and I have to say, it looks pretty cool. My only advice I can give you for the first difficulty is see if you can get away without running a healer, as it seemed the boss didn't do a lot of damage. As for the second difficulty, I was in the process of practicing my attempts. As my current team setup, I am unable to kill the boss within 1 attempt. The students I used in the first attempts were locked, and I had to finish the attempts with whatever remaining students I have access to. So you are all probably wondering what is the best team setup for taking on Binah. Without a shadow of a doubt, the star character for this boss will be Iori. She just does a metric ton of damage to the boss. Even if she has a terrain disadvantage, she still outputs some of the highest DPS for piercing units. Another notable student for this raid is Karen. She is a backline damage dealing special student that does incredibly high single target damage. Following this, Maki is also a very strong piercing damage dealer, and she always finds a spot on your team for raids involving heavy armor. Her EX skill deals very high damage to an enemy and then buffs herself with increased attack power for 30 seconds. Her normal skill reduces the target's defense for 15 seconds every 25 seconds. Her enhanced skill gives her bonus attack speed. And her sub-skill lets her deal bonus damage to enemies with the defense debuff applied by Maki. Maki is incredibly strong for raid content and is a must-use if you have her. Her defense debuff is very welcomed on top of having incredibly high damage output and the self-steroid that she has, making Maki incredibly strong for this raid. Another very crucial student that you should hopefully have is Akane. She has an incredibly strong defense debuff tied to her EX skill with a low cost of 2, allowing you to cycle through student EX skills quickly. It is very possible to maintain 100% uptime on this debuff, or at least a very large portion of the encounter. Hopefully you guys are fortunate enough to recruit her, as she is a 2-star. Assuming we're not fortunate to have the 3-star students listed above, we can instead use these students. Junko is a great damage dealer. Her EX skill deals an incredibly high amount of damage in a straight line AoE. However, using this skill costs 25% of her current health. Her normal skill gives her invulnerability for 12 seconds if her health drops below 20%. This can only activate once per encounter. Her enhanced skill gives her increased dodge chance, and her sub skill allows her to deal more damage based on her missing health. Junko is very strong to have, especially if you can unlock her 3-star sub skill. She'll be able to dish out more and more damage the lower her health gets. And because of her naturally higher evasion, this will help alleviate incoming damage as her health drops lower. And with a safety net should her health reach 20%, in which point she will be invulnerable and dealing incredible amount of damage thanks to her sub skill. A great character and a fairly obtainable being a 2-star, if not, due to the abundance of hard mode missions you can farm her. Another honorable mention goes to Binah. She is a 1-star character, so she should be very easily obtained in recruitment, and with investment she becomes a very powerful DPS in raids, especially for the current raid boss, Binah. Binah's EX skill, she immediately reloads and increases her attack power. Also, her next 3 attacks have no delay between them. Her normal skill will restore her health if she dips below 20% health once per encounter, and her enhanced skill will increase her crit rate. Finally, her sub skill, if she is stationary for 10 seconds, she gains a lot of attack speed. The current boss is incredibly stationary, and Binah will be able to plant herself and DPS the boss constantly. If you have her at 3-star, she will dish out very high sustained DPS, and having naturally increased crit rate is also very strong. Lastly, we have Kotama. She is an explosive special support, which isn't great for the current boss, but we don't care about her damage output. Rather, we're bringing her for her excellent team buffing capabilities. Her EX skill costs 3 and buffs allies' attack in an AoE for 30 seconds. Because of her low EX cost, it makes it very easy to cycle through abilities. Her normal skill deals damage to an enemy and debuffs them, reducing the damage they deal for 20 seconds with a 30-second cooldown. Her enhanced skill increases her accuracy, and her sub skill increases her allies' attack as long as she is in the squad. Kotama is an excellent buffer if you can manage to hit the whole team with an attack buff. Her enemy attack debuff is also very useful in raids in improving your survivability, and her sub skill is just great to have. Lastly, another character you could consider using is Hibiki. Whilst Hibiki is an explosive damage dealer, thus she will only be dealing 50% of her damage output, because the boss is so large, she'll be able to land all 5 hits of her EX skill, dealing a large amount of damage even at 50% effectiveness. She also buffs your team's critical damage. This makes her worth considering using on your team if you have her. As for tanks, I think it's safe to run anything. The best tank you probably want to use is Tsubaki, as she probably has the highest damage output because the boss is weak to piercing attacks. The boss doesn't seem to have a damage type, so if you want to run Yuka, you don't have to worry about her being destroyed by piercing damage. So what is the ideal team setup for Binah? The best tank you probably want to use is Tsubaki. Akane is highly recommended to bring along for the defense debuff, so you have 2 slots left for damage dealers. In an ideal world, you will bring both Iori and Maki if you have them. Otherwise, Junko and Binah will also work just as fine. Hasumi can also be used to substitute one of your damage dealer. As for specials, you want to bring Karen and Hibiki if healers are unnecessary. You can substitute one of these characters for Kotama if you want. Otherwise, just bring healers. So clearing raids will award you coins. You can spend these coins at the Total Assault shop, and you should prioritize the character elves. I would recommend you buy either Maki or Akane's elf, whichever one you don't own. Afterwards, you can work on unlocking other characters with raid coins or upgrading one of them to 5-star. And with that, we've reached the end of the video. Hope you guys found this video useful. If you liked and enjoyed it, please give a like and subscribe if you haven't already, as I will be bringing you guys more Blue Archives content. And with that, I will see you all next time.